The Washington Post's Juliet Eilperin and Mike DeBonis report that President Obama is vetting Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval. Now, Brian Sandoval is a moderate Republican. This would be to replace Antonin Scalia, the right-wing Supreme Court justice who passed away very, very recently. And there's a couple of interesting ways to think about this. On the one hand, we have Republicans, Lewis, who have said, we are not going to deal with a Supreme Court nomination during an election year. Doesn't matter who President Obama nominates. We're not even going to meet with them. We are not going to have confirmation hearings. Nothing is happening until voters select the next president, only then. Now, it's ridiculous. It makes absolutely no sense. But if Republicans see moderate Republican Brian Sandoval nominated to the Supreme Court, they might say, hey, you know what? This is, it's to the left of Antonin Scalia, but it's not that far left. Maybe we should play ball and actually consider a nomination, a confirmation hearing for Brian Sandoval. Now, here are a couple of different issues that may come up. Brian Sandoval is pro-choice. He is in favor of abortion being legal. That being said, he's against late-term abortion and he's against federal funding for abortion, which, by the way, is already not allowed. So whether that matters, I don't really know. So on the one hand, Lewis, we're talking about a moderate Republican, certainly someone to the left of Antonin Scalia, but to the right of Elena Kagan and other more liberal justices. So this could be good if President Obama is able to get someone on the court. At the same time, the abortion question is often a litmus test in these Supreme Court confirmation hearings. If the opportunity to overturn Roe v. Wade came up, what would you do? And nominees usually don't answer, right? They say, listen, I shouldn't prejudge anything because any case that came before the court, I would go into with an open mind. But we know abortion is a litmus test for Republicans. He is a Republican, but he is pro-choice. I don't know what would happen.
Yeah, I think this was a smart move. I don't know a whole lot about Sandoval, but I think I don't think this is trickery by Obama. I think that if he can have Sandoval appointed, that will happen. And it just puts the congressman GOP congressman in a funny situation.
There's another. So Lewis talks about trickery. The other hypothesis is Republicans have said they're not going to consider anybody. If they get word that President Obama might nominate Brian Sandoval and they say, hey, that's someone we actually would consider, President Obama could then come back and say, oh, we may have been vetting him, but that's not the nominee. This other person's the nominee, but you already said you would have considered confirming Sandoval, which makes it very clear that your entire we just don't do confirmations in election years thing is just a political BS move, and it would really expose Republicans. I think most Republicans are smart enough to see this possibility, and they're going to basically stay mute on this until we hear more.
Yeah, I think at this point they have to they're going to have to stick to their guns, if you will, and
we know they do.
As we know they do, and they're going to have to refuse this guy as well. So I don't know what will happen.
Now, let me throw something else out, though, Lewis. There may be a sort of victory for President Obama if he's able to get anyone confirmed merely because of the insanity of what Republicans have said.
Right.
But putting Brian Sandoval on the court is realistically still going to leave you with a 5-4 conservative majority. So you have to consider, is it really a victory to put someone who's conservative but slightly less conservative than Antonin Scalia up there merely because you want to say, I put someone in there? If it's not going to change the balance of the court, we're talking about 9 votes here. That's something to consider as well. Would it really be a victory politically?
If Obama thinks that this is someone who will make rulings based on an actual constitutional arguments and facts and reality instead of conservative nonsense or religious nonsense
and ideology,
then that's fine. I'm assuming that Obama thinks that that's who this person is.
Quick reminder, Democrats confirmed Ronald Reagan's Supreme Court nominee during the Iran-Contra scandal. If there was ever an argument to be made that because of the chaos happening in the White House at the time, there should be a delay on confirming a Supreme Court justice, that would have been it, and Democrats still confirmed him. So let's step away from that nonsense.